All right, good morning. Not a whole lot of big stuff on the log, so I'll just kind of wade through what we have. The aggravated assaults, a few domestics in there, people punched, strangled, some other boyfriend, girlfriend things. Somebody was threatened with a knife, but no injuries, no significant injuries on any of those. The arson, both of those ended up being reports. One of them was a fire that was started inside an apartment. The other was a shed that had a fire in it. No arrests on those. They're still looking into those. Burglaries, a couple of garages that were entered, had some tools and bicycles taken. Otherwise, a couple of apartments or buildings were entered on those. Disorderlies, kind of our normal run-of-the-mill. A lot of trespassings and failure to vacates, but nothing significant. The embezzlement was a car that was loaned out. The family disputes and offenses, those a lot of protection order and stalking, no contact violation, nothing significant. The frauds, a few ID thefts, some cash was missing. One of them was actually two different reports were fake hundreds that were passed. They were found after the fact. One was at a casino, the other was at a store, but no suspects on those. And the report didn't say what type of bill it was, so I don't know if they're related or not. Some other reports in there as well. The larcenies, quite a few catalytic converters. Looks like most of those were I'll say a couple of them were like Friday night, Saturday morning. Some others, sometime over the last week, they weren't able to narrow that down. Those were all over the place, nothing concentrated in one area. We did have a lot of unlocked cars with a little bit of everything, including a couple of stolen handguns. The one of them, the gun happened sometime between last Wednesday and Friday. The other one was Thursday night, Friday morning. And again, those were not concentrated in one area. Narcotics, no big quantities on those. The prostitution, that was a Lyft driver. She had picked up somebody, and while they were driving, the guy basically propositioned her. He offered her money for sex. She refused and ended the ride and just pulled over, and he got out of the car because she said she was going to call police. So no arrests on that at this point. We've got some information to follow up on. The rape is a report. The robbery, that was basically a shoplifting. A guy had tried to shoplift a couple of beers from a convenience store. When the clerk confronted him, he ended up punching the clerk and then ran away, and the beers fell out of his pockets. But he was found nearby and arrested for the second-degree robbery. The clerk didn't have any serious injuries. Yeah, that was at the Casey's on East 10th Street, and that was on Sunday about 6:30 p.m. Just the one count, yeah. Yep. His last name is Killsmall, Killss, Small. First is Justin, Justin. Middle is Shane, Shane, and he's a senior. He is 44, and it lists him as a transient from Sioux Falls.
And his last name has two S's in it?
Two S's, yeah. Killss, Small. And let's see, the sex offense, that was a report. The simple assaults, a lot of domestics out of there, but nothing serious. The unattended death, we had 3 of those, but nothing suspicious with any of them. And the vandalisms, we had basically cars that were damaged, some windshields, some were keyed, some were egged, but I don't think we didn't have any arrests on those. And the weapons violation, this was a late report, actually happened on June 19th, on Saturday, probably about 5:30 a.m. Somebody heard some gunshots and didn't think much of it, I guess, and then sometime over the weekend, let me find out when that was. Friday morning, they ended up finding some shell casings outside their house. So turns out their house had been shot 3 times. There were 3 bullet holes in the house. None of them went into the house. Nothing else was damaged. And I guess no idea why that took place.
So over the weekend he found the shell casings, but it happened like about a week ago.
It happened, right. It was a week before is when they heard the gunshots, and then they found the shell casings and realized that that's where they came from.
Any video surveillance from that?
I don't think so. There was one neighbor that may have had something, but they weren't able to get anything, so I'm not sure if they have any video of that or not.
What's the location of that?
That was in the 1700 block of North Highland Avenue.
And how far away were the casings found, like out the sidewalk or on the road, away from the house?
They were, I think they were in the yard, but let me just double check. Some of them were in the street, and some of them were in the lawn.
You said how many shell casings were found?
5 shell casings were found, yeah.
5 shell casings, and the house was shot 3 times?
They saw 3 holes in the siding. That's all I have, unless you guys have anything else.
With all the handguns stolen from the cars, would that be able to come back to the owners as a crime if they're used in something, or is that just?
No, there's no laws about that. You know, if it's kind of a tough situation. I mean, obviously we want people to lock their cars and not leave guns in cars, because we've seen this over the years that I mean, we've had people that are specifically looking for guns in unlocked cars, and then they're later on used in crimes. Years ago, we had a gun that was stolen from Sioux Falls that was used as a homicide weapon in Chicago. You just don't know where the guns are going to go, so it's kind of tough. But no, there's nothing that I'm aware of in state law where the owner of a gun, if it's stolen, would be responsible for, you know, for any liability or any type of action if that gun was used in a crime.
But just more than likely, those stolen guns might possibly be used in crimes elsewhere.
There's a good chance. I mean, you've got, you know, people that are already stealing from cars. Though, you know, it might not be those people that are using the gun, but that gun can be bought and sold, and you know, you just don't know where it's going to end up. And so that's why we always encourage people, if they leave a gun in their car, take it into their house or apartment and secure it there. Don't leave it in your car, because even if it's locked, it doesn't take much to break a window and you help yourself to the gun. So it's best to keep the gun where you're at, and obviously that's not always practical, but making sure you're not leaving it in your car overnight, and for sure not leaving it in an unlocked car. Anything else? Okay, thanks.